In this part of the Drupal 8 series tutorial, I will show you how to create, edit, and delete views on your Drupal 8 website. My name is Kenny, and thanks for checking out the Almost Engineer channel. Please be sure to subscribe to get notified when future videos are released. Views is one of the Drupal modules that is now part of Drupal 8 core. In Drupal 7, it was a standalone or contributed module that had to be installed after you installed Drupal. But now that Views has moved into core, this functionality is already built in and you don't have to go find a separate add-on for this functionality. So the default set of views, which I'm showing here, are comments, content, and so forth, as you see. There are also some that are available, but that are disabled. So what I'm going to do to demonstrate the purpose that views has is to add a new view. Next, we'll enter in the name of the view, and we can also, if you want, to enter in a description. So I'm going to list in the articles as the name of the view, and latest articles that have been created as the description. And then so I wanted to show content. We also have the option of showing other various entities or whatnot, but this one is going to be content of the type article. And then I wanted to sort by the newest first. You also have other options to be able to sort by, but I'm gonna leave it with newest first. And then I want to create a page for this particular view. And so the page title, which is articles, is fine, and the path to it is articles is also fine. And I'll leave it as a unformatted list. However, you do have other options like a table, HTML list, or a grid. And I'll set it to display 10 items with a pager. And it'll also create a menu link, and we'll put that menu link under the main navigation and call it articles. If you wanted to, you can create a block, and it has similar options of how to display this information. So grid, HTML list, table, or unformatted list. And then you have the titles, the full post, and whatever else you may want to display in that particular block. So, but I'm not going to do a block, I'm going to do a page. And we'll cover blocks more in a future tutorial. So then you do save and edit. And so now you have created the view called articles, and in parentheses is of a type of content. And so here are the two articles that I have in my system right now. And so there's one called this just in one, and then this also just in. And then so you can go into the filter criteria and change what is displayed. So if I go into content type and turn off article or select all, then now instead of just showing just the content type of article, it now shows the content type of basic page, which is the services, the about us, and the welcome page. So I can go back and change this back to just article. And then you also have these other operations where it is one of or is not one of. And so I will apply. And if you notice, when you go and make these changes in views, these changes are not permanently saved, they're temporarily saved, so that you can preview what the view will look like. In order to permanently save these changes, you actually have to click the save button that is shown here. And now you get the confirmation that the article content type, the article view has been saved. And so next you can actually do some sorting on this. And so you can sort by time, which is the default, but it also allows you to add other items. So you can sort by the last comment, you can sort by the node ID, and there are various other options that you can choose to sort by. So I'm going to leave this set as being sort by the author on date. So as you see here, they're the same time, but if I were to edit this particular node, so I will edit this one, and we'll change the time so that it is different. So I'll make this, we'll do 218 and save. So now that we've changed this, if we save the view, it'll reload the content. And so now this one here is first, and then you have the second, with this one being the latest one. So since we are sorting by descending order, that means the most recent article will show up at the top of the list, which will be this one here. There are other options available, so you can actually put a header or footer in this particular one. And so let's say we want to put just a basic header, so we can do a text area and then click add and configure header, and then you can just state the latest articles are listed below. All right, and you have some additional options. So if you have, let's say you have no articles or have nothing that needs to be displayed in this view, but you still want this header to show, you would check this option. And then you can also use tokens available for the first row. And so these are some of the tokens, and tokens are essentially the placeholders for the actual value. So let's say the page count will change as you add more items. So by putting this token here, you don't have to specify, 5 items per page. You can put this token here, and what it will do is when it sees this token, it will go find the value for that token and then replace the token with the actual value upon output. So since we have the content listed here, we'll go ahead and click apply. And so now you see the header that I just added in shows up here. And to seal this in, I'm going to click save to make sure that change sticks. And then the same thing could be done for a footer. And also you have the no results behavior. So I'll put in, for the no results behavior, we'll add a text area again. And then state the content as nothing to show and hit apply. And so now the no results behavior is defined. So I'm going to save this. And to give this a test, what I'm actually going to do is to uncheck this content type and hit apply. Okay, that seems to throw an error that it does not like. There we go. So what I did is actually set it to none of the content types and hit apply. And so now you see our no results behavior of nothing to show shows up. And if we save it, it's now permanently in there. And so we can actually go to this particular page in our URL. So if we remove this and type the page title with the page path, which is articles. And so as you see, this is now the view that we just created, which says nothing to show. So I'm going to edit the filter criteria again to make it only show articles. Hit apply and save. And so our view has been saved. And if we go back to the page for this view, we now see the articles listed. Now, if you have more items than you want to display on a page at a time, you can use the pager. And so what a pager does essentially is it creates new pages and groups the items smaller than what they currently are. So right now, a maximum of 10 items per page will be shown according to this particular setting. You can change this to whatever you want to, or as it says, enter 0 for no limit. But be mindful that the more items that you show on a page, the longer it will take to load. This will also allow you to set the indicators for the page, the previous and next page links using whatever text you choose. The arrows in here are the default choices, and then you have a few additional options that are checkable here. Under the advanced relationship section, you have some additional filters. So if you have content that you want to display only created by a particular user, you can do those in this section. And there's also some other settings as well that you can use and change here. Normally you won't have to change anything under the advanced settings. The majority of the settings that you will be changing will be in the fields, the filter criteria, the sort criteria, and also the formatting. So to cover the fields, we'll actually change the display type. So we need to change this format. We'll change it to a table, and we'll stick with the default options and click apply. And so now we get the options to change the field. So right now it's only showing the title, but if you go in and click add and then do post date, correction, we'll do dates, or wait. So we'll do Arthrodon. Here we go. And you can search by the type of where that field shows up at. And so the Arthrodon shows up in the under node if you search for node. So then you do add and configure fields. And so then you get to tweak the display of the label for this particular field, as well as the value that shows up. So this one, for the Arthrodon, we'll call it published, and we'll set the date format to short, and we'll let it default to the user's time zone. And then there are also some other options where you can customize the label, the HTML. You can rewrite some of the output as well. And then if you have no results, you have the other options here available as well. So going to click apply and continue. And so we also selected changed, which shows the change date and time for that particular node. So I'm going to leave the label the same, but I'm going to set the date format as the long date format. And I will leave the remaining options the same. All right, so now we have the title, we have the date that it was published, and as you see, our heading here shows that. And then we also have the date that it was changed. And as you see, this is the long date format, this is the short date format. And so now you notice there is no heading or column heading for the title. So what I would do is go into content and then check the option to create a label. We're going to call it title and do apply. And so now we have a column heading of apply, a column heading of title over the title column. Last but not least, we need to make sure, again, you save your changes once you're comfortable with those. And so now our changes are locked in. And then if you go back to the articles page, you'll now see the article shows up. You'll now see that the article views shows up as a table. And if you click on the title, it actually links you to the content, which you can see here. Hopefully this tutorial has helped you learn more about views within Drupal 8. Please consider subscribing. Also, please give this video a thumbs up. Please be sure to visit next week for another Drupal 8 tutorial. See you then.